So I was just watching, we have big news on Cuba, as you know, with the indictment of Castro. So they've a lot of people have suffered very big, very at levels that few people would understand. And I think the Cuban population of Miami and certainly beyond Miami, people that came there that were decimated, whose families were ruined, appreciate what the Attorney General just did today and was just doing now. He's just watching it. So we have Cuba on our mind. Very important. It's been a lot of problem for a lot of years. And this was I think it was a very big moment for people that, not only Cuban Americans, but people that came from Cuba, that want to go back to Cuba, people that want to see their family in Cuba. I think this is a very big day, very important day. They supported me to the nth degree. They supported me at levels that nobody's ever seen before. And so I think it's a very important moment.
Mr. President? What's up, Mr. President?
Say it?
What's coming next for Cuba?
Well, we're going to see. It's a failing nation. You see that. It's falling apart. They have no oil. They have no money. It's a failing nation. So I just can't tell you that. But we're there to help. We're there to help the families, the people. And again, a lot of those people are related to me in the sense that I've had such a great relationship with Cuban Americans. They supported me at a 94% level. That's a pretty good level. And their relatives are there. So we got to, on a humanitarian basis, we're there to help.
Mr. President was there last week.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that at all?
Well, we have a lot of people there. We had CIA there. We have Marco is there. Marco's parents, as you know, were from Cuba. So we have a lot of expertise in Cuba, and it's not going to be like the biggest thing we've ever done, but I will tell you, to a lot of people, it's going to be one of the most important. They've been looking for this moment for 65 years. So we'll see what happens. But we're going to, in the meantime, we're going to have to help them out. They have no way of living. They have no food. They have no electricity. They have no energy at all. But they do have great people. There are a lot of great people. I mean, I have so many Cuban friends in Miami, mostly in Miami and Florida, and they're unbelievable people. They're unbelievable entrepreneurs, and they'd like to go back. I think hopefully they're going to want to live here, but they want to go back. Maybe they'll invest. We'll see what happens. But we're freeing up Cuba.
Mr. President, how much longer do you anticipate the embargo having to be in place on Cuba?
We'll see. We'll be announcing it pretty soon.
On the table here, Mr. President, should we expect any escalation here, or should they expect?
With Cuba?
Yes.
No. You won't. There won't be escalation. I don't think there needs to be. Look, the place is falling apart. It's a mess, and they've sort of lost control. They've really lost control of Cuba. I don't want to say that.
Mr. President, Gavin Newsom is on Capitol Hill today. He says that he doesn't think J.D. Vance has what it takes to come after you. What's your response to that?
Who said that?
Gavin Newsom.
He said it doesn't have what?
He says that the era of Trump ends with you, and that J.D. Vance doesn't have what it takes to come after you.
Well, look, we've done a lot, and JD's very talented. He's a smart guy. He'll do very well if it's JD. We have a lot of very talented people. So I think hopefully we're going to leave something that's going to be real easy to run. We're doing a lot. We're doing a lot, and JD's a very talented guy.
Iran have to respond after you said yesterday you're about an hour away from making a decision. Where does that stand today? Have you heard anything from them?
It's right on the borderline, believe me. If we don't get the right answers, it goes very quickly. We're all ready to go. We have to get the right answers. It would have to be a complete 100% good answers. And if we do, we save a lot of time, energy, and lives, most importantly.
How long will you wait?
Could go very quickly, or a few days. It could be a few days, but it could go very quickly. Iran is a defeated nation. We're dealing with some people, and actually, I must tell you, we're dealing with some very good people. We're dealing with people that are, I think, far more reasonable than the people that are really no longer with us. We're dealing with some people with talent, with good brain power, and we're pretty impressed by it. So hopefully those people will make a deal that's going to be great for everybody.
Are you getting tired of the
But
back
I
and forth?
don't know. I don't. Do I get what?
Are you getting tired of the back and forth?
I never get tired. But what I like to do, if I can save war by waiting a couple of days, if I can save people being killed by waiting a couple of days, I think it's a great thing to do.
Even if there's last show tomorrow night, what's your message to him? The late night host Peter Cormier, it's his last show. I think he's being such a
I'll have a message at a later date. Okay.
So on Iran, did the U.S. offer Iran oil stations relief during the peace talks, as Iranian TV has reported?
No, I haven't heard that. No. I'm not doing any relief until they sign an agreement. When they sign an agreement, we can get that place built up again and have something that's really a good country for the people. But no, we haven't offered anything.
What's the message to American families who are scared by the rise of AI? They're worried that their kids are not going to be able to have jobs someday because AI will
I'll tell you, AI has been amazing because right now we have more jobs, more people working right now in the United States by far than we ever had before. And outside of the war, and I assumed the economy was going to go down, the stock market would go down 20, 25%. It's actually up. The stock market is higher now than it was before I started the Iran situation. And on the Iran, I had no choice because they were going to have a nuclear weapon. We're not going to give them a nuclear weapon. But that's going to end soon, one way or the other. Oil is going to come tumbling down. There's so much oil. We have 1,600 ships in the Strait that are loaded up with oil that are going to be coming out very soon. So we'll have to see. But the military has been unbelievable. The blockade has been infallible. Not one ship has gotten through the blockade. 37 have tried. They all wish they didn't.
Can you tell us about your call with Erdogan?
Yeah, I had a very good call with President Erdogan, and pretty standard. We have a very good relationship. Isn't it nice to have relationships with some very tough people? He's a tough guy, and but I have a relationship with him that nobody else does. He's actually done a good job. He's been, I think very much of an ally. Some people would doubt that, but I think he's been a great ally, and his people respect him. His people respect him a lot.
Mr. President, response to any people that are critical of your settlement over your IRS case about the tax now that you can't be prosecuted for tax?
Yeah, well, what happened is I was suing IRS for a lot of different reasons. One of the reasons is they released my tax returns, which they're not allowed to do. Now, they showed I pay a lot of tax. I may even release my current returns because they show I pay a lot of money. But they're not supposed to do that. They were in lockboxes as president. And they released them. And a certain firm released them, which was, I guess, a private firm. But it released them to a lot of the fake news. And the fake news went, and you're just not allowed to do that. And many other things happened. So I released them from the lawsuit, and I guess they made a settlement of some kind. I wasn't involved in the settlement. I could have been involved, but I didn't choose to be. So they made a settlement. Also, the anti-weaponization of people. I mean, people were destroyed. They went to jail. Their families were ruined. They committed suicide. All the Biden administration and the Obama administration, both of them. I mean, the Obama administration started it. The Biden administration was horrible in terms of what they've done to people is incredible. And we're reimbursing those people for their legal fees and for their costs and for anybody involved. But they destroyed people committing. I read the other day, a person committed suicide over it. They went, it was the most violent thing I've ever seen in politics, what they did. And yet if I say, let's look at this one or that one, they say weaponization. What they did in terms of weaponization will never be allowed to happen in this country again. So we think that we think that anybody involved in that process should partake. And you're talking about peanuts compared to the value. It destroyed the lives of many, many people. Thank you very much, everybody.
Hello, my friends. Welcome, one and all. I am kind of coming to you from this situation here. which is why sometimes I won't be on screen. But I'm just still having some issues with my desk, and so I want everybody to be able to hear me loud and clear. And I might be popping in and out here, but I definitely want to get some things in front of you, starting with that gaggle that President Trump just had with the press. And he was asked about J.D. Vance, and I want to go to something that J.D. Vance did yesterday that the Great Britain News picked up on, and just show, you know, the strength of some of the things that he is saying and his unabashedness, if you will.
Rubio, a very different style to J.D. Vance, very measured, very statesmanlike, also very good in that briefing room. It is not easy. So everyone was keenly watching J.D. Vance today to see how he would handle it. And I would describe the difference between the two of them is that J.D. Vance has got a little bit more wildcat energy, I would say. He's on the front foot. You're never quite sure what he's going to say. That makes him very entertaining to watch. There was a lot of talk about Iran, Martin, as you say. I was stood next to a gentleman that I didn't know, and his question surprised me. He's American. He works for a rather obscure outlet called the Gateway Pundit here in America. But his question was about the Unite the Kingdom rally. So let's have a quick look at what J.D. Vance said about it.
To everybody in the UK who rejects that idea, I'd encourage them to just keep on going. It's okay to want to defend your culture. It's okay to want to live in a safe neighborhood. It's okay to want your job to go to yourself and your neighbors and not to a stranger who you don't even know. It is reasonable for the people in Western societies to want to control who comes into their country and who doesn't. A lot of people, frankly, a lot of people in the media have tried to persuade all of those people that it's somehow racist to want to protect your borders, even though very often the very people who are most affected by low-wage immigration are lower-income Black and Hispanic Americans right here in the United States of America, and I guarantee that's true in the UK.
So basically, Martin, J.D. Vance did the speech that a lot of our viewers would have liked to have heard from our Prime Minister after the Unite the Kingdom rally, or any time, frankly, that anybody speaks up and says, I have genuine concerns and grievances about mass migration. I couldn't believe it. It was the last question of the day here. And after that, J.D. Vance wrapped up the hearing. And I think I turned to the guy who'd asked the question. I said, who are you? I didn't expect you to ask that question. And he said, well, we feel really strongly about this. We can see what's happening in the UK. There is a sense in America that they're looking at Great Britain, and they want to learn from the mistakes that we might make about mass migration. And also remember that J.D. Vance's pet project, something he feels very strongly about, is free speech. He talks about it repeatedly whenever he's asked. He sees the UK not only having these difficult times regarding migration, but failing to have the difficult conversations around them. When you hear him speak, Martin, you understand his principles. They are crystal clear. He said today about innocent until proven guilty in relation to another answer. He said that we want to send people to prison for breaking crimes, not for saying the wrong things or for having the wrong politics. His through line of principles and values and political vision is so clear that for the likes of us, it's like being stood there, being washed by a political balm, because it is so refreshing to hear such clarity about the individual and about the position that this country wants to be in. And frankly, there's a lot we could learn.
Bev Turner, it really is an astonishing situation that the Vice President of the United States is sticking up for British patriots, marching on the streets of Westminster in a way where our own political leaders just brandish them all as far right.
Yeah, it is. And let me just tell you as well what he said about Iran, because obviously that was the majority of the questions here today. He was asked about the fact that this war has been going on for so long. And he said, actually, the military part of that conflict was 5 to 5.5 weeks. So that's how it's being framed now. He said, we're in a ceasefire situation. The negotiations are ongoing. He was incredibly candid about that process. He said, sometimes it is difficult to know what the opposition are thinking. He said, he said, we have a lot of Iranian people in this country. They are hardworking. They are great people. And he said, some of those types of individuals are negotiating with us. He said, but we've also got the hardliners, and it can be very difficult to know whether we can entirely trust them. But he said, I think we're in a good position. We think they want to make a deal. We're pushing forward with it, and we want to bring this to a conclusion. But he was very keen to reiterate the sticking point yet again. Iran will never have a nuclear bomb. He said that is it. They will never be able to produce a nuclear weapon. He clarified it a little further today by saying this is because if Iran wants a nuclear weapon, everyone's going to want a nuclear weapon. He said they will be the first domino to fall, and that is why we have to stop them. We'll have obviously more of this on Late Show Live at midnight tonight, Martin.
So, you know, this is so important that we're kind of crossing over with Great Britain a little bit, because I'll give you an example. What Elon Musk reposted today is a story from Great Britain. And Elon says there were massive international protests over George Floyd, and those police involved were severely punished with long prison sentences, despite the fact that the toxicology report showed that he died of drug overdose, fentanyl poisoning, not asphyxiation or not being able to breathe. Yet the police responsible here did not even lose their jobs in this UK situation, an incredibly unjust double standard. So this is from Doge Designer. An 18-year-old kid gets stabbed in the street. He's running for his life, begging for help. And instead of saving him, the police handcuff him while he bleeds out because the attacker claimed racism. They let him choke on his own blood. No urgency, no humanity, just cold ideological policing. Months later, still no names, still no suspensions, still no accountability. Meanwhile, the same UK police have arrested over 12,000 people for social media posts. They move at lightning speed to jail citizens for tweets and online comments, yet they can't even name or discipline the officers who allegedly let a stabbing victim die in handcuffs on the street. This is the definition of two-tier policing. Aggressive against ordinary people speaking online, but protective when it comes to their own failures and protecting the narrative. The British people deserve real justice, not another cover-up. Justice for Henry Nowak. Henry Nowak is his name. This got 33.8 million views. That was from Doge Designer. And then Elon reposting it, got another 32 million views. So this is good that a lot of people are seeing this and this kind of double standard. Also, let's be clear that the rape gangs in the UK have not been addressed. Have not the Parliament actually voted to stop investigations into these rape gangs. I mean, it's just crazy world, my friends. So shifting gears here just for a moment, getting to the chat. I see that we have a few birthdays. We have Dee Hager, whose birthday was May 15th. Happy belated birthday, Dee. Becca is tomorrow. Becca 333 has a birthday tomorrow. And Wendy on Rumble today has a birthday. So happy birthday to all three of you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wendy, Dee, and Becca. Happy birthday to you. And many more, my friends. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for all the many years, all the support. And much love to you on these beloved birthdays. Let me take you to another story. I'm going to get us back to the cities, and I'm going to speak to you. I'm going to show Joe Rogan's take on Spencer Pratt, and Spencer Pratt was on Joe. So let me bring that up for you. And this is an excerpt, that dangerous thoughts.
I think they really are underestimating how angry everybody is, because there's people that I talk to that used to be just hardcore Democrats, hardcore leftist progressives that are really saying, like, in hushed tones, we really need a Republican. We really need like some no nonsense Rudy Giuliani person. I hate to say that. I hate to say it, but that's what we need. We need someone who's going to be really tough on crime and clean everything up and stop all these people from having tents on the street. There's so many people like that are just quiet about it. They don't want to talk about it openly and publicly because they're afraid of being shamed.
I grew up in Palisades. I went to Crossroads High School. I don't think I've ever met a Republican. No, I mean, for real, like all the people I know, all my family and friends, everybody I know is a Democrat. And all the people that are supporting me, all the people I talk to, they're Democrats. This is not the Democrat Party that's running LA. The other day I posted the commandment list of, I think it was 1996, Bill Clinton's Democratic Party. It looks like what I would say right now.
Yeah.
That's the Democrat. No, this is socialism. This is communist. This is cartel. This is mafia. Yeah. This is not, Democrats love me. They want all the same things. They want to feel safe.
It's really amazing how they can hide it by just pretending to be compassionate. They can hide all this money that they're just siphoning off, because it really is just organized crime.
Well,
So this is the misdirected compassion that I speak to quite a bit. And see, they take the compassion, the empathy in the hearts of so many, primarily liberal women and their cuckold husbands, and they appeal to their compassion. They appeal to their empathy, but they direct it in a false paradigm. If they take their compassion and they say that we shouldn't be non-compassionate towards trans women by not allowing them into women's sports, for example. Okay, so meanwhile, there's all that compassion for the trans person, but where's the compassion for the young girl who's worked her whole life to get to the level that is now she is getting knocked off by this biological male? So it's the misdirected compassion towards the trans community, but not having any compassion for those affected by us basically going along with this mental illness. Another misdirected compassion. People from other countries are trying to find a better life and they're coming to America. So they get the bleeding heart liberals to say we have to keep, the border walls racist. Meanwhile, where's the compassion for the young children that are being raped along the way, coming across the border through those really nasty and really corrupt and really controlled by the coyotes and the cartels that are, they're being terrorized and raped and their whole lives are being ruined. Where's the compassion for them? Where's the compassion for the people in the United States who have been subject to the crimes of the illegal immigrants? So this is the misdirected compassion, right? And so, Joe touched on a little bit here with Spencer. Let's get back to that conversation.
Say to people, there's nothing we can do. That's right. People will be in my comments section, be like, there's nothing you can do. It's like, they are so good at just keeping these people have rights. First off, it is illegal. This is below people's mind. It's illegal to live on the sidewalk.
Yes, right. It is.
That's a Democrat law. All the laws I want to enforce are Democrat laws. I am the Democrat law enforcer, Mayor. I should be every day. I'm actually excited because I finally feel like there's like hope, because when your house burns down and your mom's crying because her house burned down every single day, everyone you know's house burned down, you go through a dark, just all my tax money. Like, I should be a millionaire, because I got some big checks. People always say, oh, he burned all of his money. They don't understand living in LA in the entertainment business with a manager, an agent, a business manager, your taxes in LA, your state taxes. It's very hard to keep all that money. So they're like, oh, he burned regardless, the amount of money I put in to the city of LA and the state, my house should still be here. So,
by the way, I want to address that. I was in Hollywood. Okay. Just so you know, an agent for an actor or for a writer takes 10%. A manager takes 25%. A lawyer takes 5%. Now, the MO in Hollywood is that you want to have as many people talking about you as possible. And if you have 3 people and their offices, the agency, the management company, and the law office, those 3 people now become maybe 25. Maybe more, depending on the size of the agency, the size of the law office, and how many of those people are actually directed to talk about, maybe Spencer Pratt as a potential role in something or something else. So you're talking about right off the top, 30% is taken out of a gross amount of money paid to the actor. And then, and they have to pay the taxes on that gross amount. So it's very hard. I mean, they take a pound of flesh out of you in Hollywood. So the fact that he's saying he doesn't really have the money, a lot of money based on his life and then living in LA. I was just talking with a friend of mine today, and I was recommending he move to New Jersey because he can live at home with his mom. He gets to spend time with his mom. And he's going to save easily $20,000 per year that he's there, and just to get a little, a little stockpile, and then maybe go back out to California after, Spencer Pratt has taken over LA, maybe after Hilton has taken over the state. In a couple years, it might be a decent state to live in, but it's certainly not now, and it's certainly not for the next couple of years.
Your state taxes, it's very hard to keep all that money. So they're like, oh, he burned the, no,
and by the way, what's state taxes? 8.25%, I think, in LA.
Regardless, the amount of money I put in to the city of LA and the state, my house should still be here. So it's very sad moment. And then you start uncovering, oh no, this is almost strategic. This, a lot of people reached out after with the Lahaina, and they're like, oh, they Lahaina'd you. This is a land grab. And I was like, no. And then you start going down, you're like, I'm not even arguing with these people anymore because of how the writing was so on the wall. It's so on the wall, the entire insurance industry dropped everyone in the Palisades leading up to the fire. It was that flagrant. There were 70-year-old people, 70-year-old plus. I talked to 80-year-olds that got dropped by their insurance January 1st, been paying 40 plus years, didn't even get to re-up, lost everything, no insurance. If all the insurance companies are dropping an area, it's very clear that they know what's about to happen. So your city leaders, your mayor, everybody, your state, they should be getting ready or saying, oh, wow, everyone's dropping this.
Right.
What can we do? Oh, we need to clear the dead brush. We need to make the water in the reservoirs there. Just obvious things. So I don't even argue with the land grab things, because here's a crazy thing that I never did the math for. This hurts. So your house burns down. You lost everything. Now you got to buy stuff over again. Now you're paying the city sales tax. So the people who just let your house burn down, now you're giving them tax to rebuy underwear, rebuy shoes, rebuy. So they're making money now off of your house burning down. Not to mention, you got to start buying things to actually, maybe if you're lucky, not only 14 people in 15 months have built a house. So
it's only 14 people have built a new house.
Let's max out at 16 just to be like, oh no, it's 16. He's a misinformation. Yeah, like it's
less than 20.
Yeah, less than 20 and 15,
which is crazy.
Plus.
And how many houses burnt down?
7,000. So
7,000 houses burned down in my old stomping grounds, the Pacific Palisades. I used to coach there. I used to at the school and at the privately at the parks in the Palisades. All of that. I was there every day. Every day I was in the Palisades. Our school is gone. That community is gone, destroyed. 7,000 homes. They've rebuilt 16. That should be the only thing he needs to run on, period.
Now you got the sales tax.
God, that's so crazy. That's such a crazy number. 7,000 houses is so crazy.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. Let me take you to this on the heels of that.
This mayor race is really heating up. Who you guys voting for? Haven't decided? Same, haven't really been following it. Same. I'm not MAGA or anything. But the city's kind of gone to shit though, right? Oh yeah. Jessica stepped on a needle at the playground the other day. I'm not MAGA or anything though. I'm not MAGA or anything, but have you been downtown lately? Looks like an episode of The Walking Dead. Not that I'm MAGA or anything, though. Spencer Pratt seems like he has some good ideas. Not that I'm MAGA or anything. He does seem really angry all the time, though. Well, they did burn his house down. Also, apparently he's staying at the Bel Air Hotel, not the trailer on his property. Well, yeah. They burned his house down. Okay, we're all adults here. How about on 3, we just say who we're voting for? 1, 2, 3. Spencer Pratt. Yeah. Spencer Pratt. Can you imagine if our wives knew?
We're all voting for Spencer Pratt, right? Of course. Obviously. I wish I could vote like yesterday.
So, by the way, that's all AI. You could see that, but it's just it's great stuff because it's so common in LA that you don't have those kind of conversations with people if it has anything to do with Republican or Trump. But now people are waking up. And what did I tell you? I said the entire Palisades that burned down was blue. Now, you don't need me to tell you that. But Spencer Pratt just told you he grew up his whole life in the Palisades, never met somebody who's a Republican. It just doesn't happen there in the Palisades unless it's a closeted Republican who is tired of spending socialist level taxation on their income in order to live in that community. And so they might, vote Republican at the polls. But here's the thing about the polls themselves is that they're, and unless we get a handle on this corruption, okay, and I'm going to take you to something here. Unless we get a handle on this corruption, then we're not going to be able to win any elections because they're all going to be controlled. And that's not okay. Let me take you. Well, first of all, by the way, I saw somebody ask about the dog, Magnus. So I went to the vet. He had to go back to the a specialized vet today. He had went home. He'd gone home yesterday. Went back to a specialized vet today, and he was. They had to reopen him up because he was getting sepsis, and so they had to do another surgery on his colon, and it's very touch and go. So please, prayers up for Magnus. I was with him today for a little while at the vet before he went into surgery. He came out of surgery. He handled surgery pretty well, even though he crashed on the table. His blood pressure went way down, but they were able to stabilize him, and he's stable now, but he's in the ICU. So, yeah, but, you know, just part of the family, very much an empath, knows when something's bothering you, will come and put his head on your lap and curl up with you. So he's a beautiful, beautiful dog, and then had lunch with my brother-in-law to try to take his mind off of it. And yeah. And so I wanted to give you the heads up on that. Also, let's talk some human beings. You know, Robin Christina, her father, Wayne, is in hospice. So she has asked that you all say a prayer for her, and that she, you know, that he just handled this very well, and, you know, as little pain as possible. And also Terry and Lorinda. Lorinda underwent surgery this week, so prayers up for them as well, please. And yeah, and that's about it. And I'm sorry for everyone that's going through that kind of stuff, because I know Rob and I went through it with my dad, and it's not fun. And so much love to you, my dear, out there in the world, handling these things. So at any rate, shifting back, let's go to this. Speaking of the elections, let's see. Let's see. Holy cow. Let me play this dude for you here. Regarding the most secure elections in history.
I want to remind everyone what happened yesterday as it relates to the actual fact pattern of law. And a warrant was issued by a magistrate judge based on probable cause after evidence was submitted. Not a Trump-appointed judge, a magistrate judge. That is the way that the law enforcement process works in America. But we have heard repeatedly that everything was perfect with 2020. In fact, I think we probably at this point could trademark the most secure election in American history. What qualifications we use to measure that, I have no idea. But let's go back to what actually happened in 2020 if we're going to have the conversation. Drop boxes invented out of thin air, nowhere in Georgia law.
By the way, this is a Georgia State Senator Greg Dolezal, and he represents District 27. Just want you to know who he is.
Mobile voting units moving through Fulton County to 80% Democrat precincts, 81% Democrat precincts to be precise. Nowhere envisioned in Georgia law. 6.8 million absentee ballot request forms with a first-class stamp sent to every registered voter in the state of Georgia. Nowhere envisioned in Georgia law. If you count the same ballots 3 times, in theory, you should get numbers that match. But that didn't happen either. Let's talk about the recount that happened. 3,930 double scan ballots in Fulton County alone. Thousands of those have been confirmed by the state election board. Governor Kemp actually raised the concerns of the Moncla-Rossi report, and we now know that there were double scanned ballots. But even after the ballots were double scanned in Fulton County, did the numbers match on the second recount? Nope. They were still off by 850 ballots. Not one person here can answer the question of how that happened. And that is a legitimate question. We know that ballot images were deleted. We know that test ballots were included in the recount process, and we have that confirmed. But I want to take just a minute and talk about what the Democrats did in response to legitimate questions over the 2020 election. A former constituent of mine, Derek Somerville, former FBI agent, ran data analysis along with another gentleman named Mark Davis. And remember the 6.8 million absentee ballot request forms that were sent out? They had a first-class stamp. So that means if you filed the national change of address form, that was automatically forwarded to your new address. And they identified reasonable cause to question the validity of 39,141 of those ballots that were cast. They knew that 160 people had been registered to vote from a single UPS store. 2,138 people had been registered to vote from one church in Fulton County. 1,391 had been registered to vote from a shuttered 1,000 square foot building in Fulton County. Unless you think Fulton County has cleaned up their voter rolls, today, thousands of people are registered to vote in Fulton County at UPS stores, storage units, pack mails, homeless shelters that haven't been open for over 5 years. The Fulton County voter rolls have been and continue to be a mess. But when Derek Somerville and Mark Davis followed the law and filed objections to those voters, what did the Democrats do? Well, Stacey Abrams sued them in federal court, and they won. Not Stacey Abrams, but Somerville and Davis won. Judge Jones, not a Republican judge, ruled in their favor. What have we learned since then about those 39,000 voters? 12,000 of them have been removed from the voter rolls because Somerville and Davis were correct that they were no longer eligible to vote. 9,500 have updated their address to a new address outside of Fulton County, proving once again that Somerville and Davis were correct and those people were ineligible to vote. Ultimately, 84% of the votes of the eligibility that Somerville and Davis challenged were proven to have been invalid voters in the 2020 election. So let's stop this charade of the most perfect, most secure election in history. But more importantly, and I would agree with my colleagues on this, let's look forward to the future elections, and it's darn near past time for Fulton County to clean up their voter rolls.
It's time, my friends. It's and by the way, also what I covered, I bookmarked yesterday.
I want to remind everyone what happened yesterday.
And he's running for lieutenant governor, by the way, which is very, very key. And hopefully he will win that race. But this is. I believe I shared, let me see if I shared Harmeet Dillon. This was a big one because this was about her going after the states that have not submitted their voter rolls because they've all been requested, right? But some of them just aren't doing it. They're not submitting them, right? And so that's a real problem. Obviously, and they're going to go after them. Now, okay, so let me see if I have that. I think I may have already shared this with you on my timeline. Actually, I shared it on my timeline, I think. Yeah. So I'll share that with you here. This was, we talked about this. This is, I don't want to get rid of the vote. But California is seeing a massive surge in Republican votes. More than 900,000 ballots already returned. So that's, that's a bit significant given the fact that, we've had such lopsided votes in the past. Let's see. I'm going to take you to this story. This is it right here. And I reposted this. And it's just the news. And the left's election fraud denials crumble as DOJ exposes 2-decade-long California cheating scheme. Now, I'm going to take you to this whole story. But basically, this is Kash Patel says prior administrations looked the other way on election cheating, but those days are over. So they're actually going after this. A longtime voting activist in California reached a deal with federal prosecutors to admit to illegally paying homeless people to sign election petitions and paying people to register to vote. Now, and it's a 2-decade-old scheme, allegedly leveraged the Democrat-run state's lax mail-in voting system, which sends ballot forms to everyone whether they ask for them or not. The felony charge and plea deal announced Monday against Brenda Lee Brown Armstrong, 64, of Marina Del Rey, California, which is right next to where I used to live, Playa del Rey, California, not only signals an investigation into others, it likely will provide legal fodder to the Justice Department's efforts to force California to turn over its voter registration database to look for other abuses. So the case and others like it against blue states are working their way through the federal courts in a major initiative led by Dylan. Okay, so now they were getting these homeless on Skid Row and paying them money, $2 and $3, to get them to sign the petitions and also to have their vote. Now, what's very interesting about this is we've figured out why they opened the borders, right? Because they wanted illegal immigrants to come in and vote Democrat, right? Because they were losing the black vote, they're losing the Hispanic vote, and they're also losing the female vote as people wake up to the reality of our situation. So we figured out why they opened the borders and let all these people in. Now we're figuring out why they allow so much homelessness, because look how they're being used to win races. Because they can just, give them a few bucks, get them to sign up, off to the races. Yeah. So, yeah, folks, if you want to support my work here, please, you could use the QR code there with your camera. It'll take you right to it. You can also just use Zelle or Give Send Go. You can also support me by checking out this amazing device, snedpemf.com. snedpemf.com. Please check that out. That is it's the belt here that you put on your waist, which eats, kind of dissolves the visceral fat and also burns calories. And you could just wrap that around, and that's what it looks like up against your skin. I put a little gel on that, and it's also great for back pain. You can turn it around and put it on your back. So it's massaging, and it's also sending PEMF and terahertz. And then, of course, I have the device like this from the foot pad that I use for my shoulder. Incredible stuff, folks. And then, of course, this mask. This is my sister's, and I'm using it because she's out of town. But this mask, I'm hoping, is going to help me get rid of my readers, because that gives the PEMF as well, and massaging of the eyes. So I'm trying to get rid of my readers before she comes back in town. And so, but you can support me in any of those ways. You can also support me by getting some incredible lightningspringsranch.com, some grass-fed, grass-finished beef. I took my brother-in-law over a steak for both of us the other day. He pulled out a very lovely bottle of wine from his wine cellar, an $80 bottle. And it was phenomenal. And we had that with the Lightning Springs Ranch. He has $80 bottles of wine. I have $8 bottles of wine. That's the difference there. So, but at any rate, you can support me there. You can also be one of the first to send me to my new address, PO 184 Driftwood, Texas 78619. 78619. And of course, any of you who are familiar with saintsolutions.com, incredible products, Mysterium, Purple Pets, use SNED17 at checkout for 12% off your order. And yeah, keep yourself stocked to the hilt. President Trump delivered a commencement address to the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. I actually know somebody who's there. I don't know. They're not at commencement right now, but going there, I believe his commencement would be next year. Yes. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you there. Now, for some reason, I had this, they had this video up, and for some reason, it's not posting the video, but yeah, and they're also finding that these ballots were from California that were absolutely not that were sent by China. And remember, during the election, we covered here the actual DHL type of delivery, UPS type delivery, that is the main deliverer in China. And we found out flat out that basically those were sitting in some of the ballot counting facilities. So we could see that. We saw it in real time, and sure enough, they were sending illegal ballots, and they were getting away with it. So there you have that, my friends. It's really tragic that yeah, just tragic. So let me get you back to the election. So this is John Solomon, and this is basically, when do birds sing? And when they're caged, they're given a deal. And this longtime, activist, California, she talked to the feds, and she's doing a deal, and she's telling them what she was paid to do. Okay. Not okay. And this is why, by the way, that, we have such shit leadership in the city of Los Angeles, in the state of California, without question. This is why this has happened. Because of the voter rolls and the illegality, right? Okay. So let's go to so this is what's going on with Cuba. Okay. So Cuba, the basically the DOJ has put out an indictment for the Cuban leader, Raul Castro. Okay. And now they're taking over. This is let me show Marco, who goes into his Spanish, very fluent Spanish here, to tell us about what's going on in Cuba.
En un día como hoy, en el 1902, la bandera cubana ondeó por primera vez sobre un país independiente. Pero sé que hoy...
I'll read it in case some of you are listening. And I'll tone down Marco. On a day like today, in 1902, the Cuban flag flew for the first time over an independent country. But I know that today, you who call the island your home are going through unimaginable hardships. By the way, brownouts, blackouts, half the island, it's major because they're out of energy. Today, I want to share with you the truth about the reason for their suffering. And I want to tell you what we in the U.S. are offering to help you not only alleviate the current crisis, but also to build a better future. The reason you are forced to survive 22 hours a day without electricity is not due to an oil blockade by the U.S. As you know better than anyone, you have been suffering from blackout for years. The real reason you don't have electricity, fuel, or food is because those who control your country have plundered billions of dollars, but nothing has been used to help the people. 30 years ago, Raul Castro funded a company called GESA. This company is owned and operated by the armed forces and has revenues 3 times greater than your current government's budget. Today, while you suffer, these businessmen have $18 billion in assets and control 70% of Cuba's economy. They profit from hotels, construction, banks, stores, and even from the money your relatives send you from the U.S. Everything passes through their hands. From those remittances, they retain percentage of profits, but from GESA's profits, nothing reaches you. Instead of using the money to buy oil, like all other countries in the world, they depended on free oil from Hugo Chavez and Maduro to keep the money. But now that the free oil has stopped coming, they buy fuel for their generators and their vehicles, while the people are asked to sacrifice. Instead of using the money to maintain and modernize the damaged power plants, they use the money to build more hotels for foreigners and to send their relatives to live in luxury in Madrid and even here in the U.S. Today, Cuba is not controlled by any revolution. Cuba is controlled by GESA, a state within the state that is accountable to no one and hoards the profits from its businesses for the benefit of a small elite. And the only role played by the so-called government is to demand that you continue making sacrifices and repressing anyone who dares to complain. President Trump is offering a new relationship between the U.S. and Cuba, but it must be directly with you, the Cuban people, not with GESA. First, we are offering $100 million in food and medicine for you, the people. But they must be distributed directly to the Cuban people by the Catholic Church or other trusted charitable groups, not stolen by GESA to sell in one of their stores. But the Cuban people are not interested in permanent. They want the opportunity to live in their own country, the way your relatives live in the U.S. or any other countries of the world. Today, from media to entertainment, from the private sector to politics, and from music to sports, Cubans have reached the top of virtually all industries in all countries except one, Cuba. Today in Cuba, only those close to the geisha elite or who are part of it can have profitable businesses. But President Trump is offering a new path between the U.S. and New Cuba. A new Cuba where you, the ordinary Cuban, and not just geisha, can own a gas station or a clothing store or a restaurant. A new Cuba where you, and not just geisha, can open a bank or have a construction company. A new Cuba where you, and not just the Communist Party of Cuba, can own a television station or a newspaper. A new Cuba where you can complain about a failing system without fear of going to jail or being forced to leave your island. And a new Cuba where you have a real opportunity to choose who governs your country and vote to replace them. If they are not doing a good job, this is not impossible. All of this exists in the Bahamas. Sorry, I missed that. The Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and even just 90 miles away in Florida. If owning your own business and having the right to vote is possible around Cuba, why is it not possible for you in Cuba? Great question. In the U.S., we are ready to open a new chapter in the relationship between our people and our countries, and currently the only thing standing in the way of a better future are those who control your country. Very plain and simple, my friends. Very plain and simple. And my goodness, what a wonderful statement, and what a simply fabulous way to present this. Like, this is what's really happening in Espanol, right? In this this incredibly toxic environment of people that think Cuba's great, think that Castro's great. Like, you know, Karen Bass, for example. She loves what's his name? Castro. Yeah, went to visit him back in the day, way back in the day. Now let's hear from a Cuban exile in Miami. And by the way, folks, I know and had a conversation with a gentleman about the making it over here in a boat. He was a young boy. I've told this story before. And they kept all the young children in the middle compartment of the ship, and everyone else was outside. And Castro let the ships go when there was a huge storm on its way. Really, really tragic. But at any rate, let me play this for you.
I do want to bring in Oscar Fernandez here with me. Nice. He left Cuba in 1961 when you were just 15 years old.
That is correct.
Tell me about what today means in the news of the indictment of Raul Castro.
It means some justice for the Cuban people. For 67 years, I'm sorry, we have been ignored by everybody, the United Nations, the Organization of American States, the European Union, everybody. So we hope this is the beginning of the downfall of the Castro regime. I'm sorry, a little emotional. And we're ready to go back and help in the reconstruction of our country. With work, with money, with investment, and with love. That has been lacking in Cuba for the last 6 decades.
Oscar, thank you so much for sharing your perspective. I know you're getting emotional because this is a huge day for the Cuban community.
It is.
You and yourself, multi-generations. What are you hoping happens next?
Well, this should be the...
So when you're hearing from real Cubans, like I spoke to this, gentleman down in Palm Beach, and he came over as a kid in that flotilla. And Castro waited until the storm was coming before he released them out of the bay. And really, really tragic. And by the way, Massey lost today, my friends, okay, to Ed Gowron, a former Navy SEAL and Trump endorsed. So Massey's out, my friends. Massey's out. And it's not because of the Epstein files. He's out because he either is playing that role that has been asked of him by the White Hats, or he is, just flat out, tapped out, not tuned in, right? So, okay. So they voted today to, from Nick's order, that they're going to knock out, here, let me pull this up. Sorry. Here we go. Let me pull this up. Here we go. This was to keep BlackRock from buying up single-family homes. Okay. The A's 191, Democrat.
On this vote, the yeas are 396, the nays are 13, 2/3 being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The resolution is agreed to, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
There you go. And so it's going to keep private equity out of our business, out of the single family homes. It's going to make it a lot more manageable for us to buy than if it wasn't the case, right? Okay. Also from Solomon, that the DOJ charges, let me bring that up, 7 Chinese executives and 4 companies in conspiracy that drove up costs of global shipping. At a time when we really need that curtailed, that's when, yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's see. You can read that. I shared that on my timeline. Don't think I'm going to be able to get into it right now. But let's see what else I got for you. How's everyone doing tonight? Great to have you with me, and thanks for joining us. Let's see. Yeah, free the world of satanic pedos. Yeah. AI is listening to our cell phones and apps, building its own empire. Humanity smash your phone. Yeah, right. But that's also why we're at Snedeheads. You're not getting that kind of, how shall we say, spying. You're not giving away your information. Privacy is freedom. Okay. And the show is also on snedeheads.com. So keep that in mind if you would. Let me see some of the chat here. Oh yeah, it would be wonderful. Turtle Mitch's wife's family is involved. She's seems to be a Chinese spy. Okay. So good to know that. Hold on one sec. Sorry. By the way, sound's cutting out, somebody says. Get your Sned gear, folks, and sound cutting out. Is it still cutting out? And share this out, please, and tag influencers. Thank you, Moonbeam, for holding down the fort. Thank you, Quasi Pete. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, let's see. It's fine. Okay, not here. Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Now, let me take you back. Okay, thank you, Moonbeam. Yeah, don't trust that. Here we go. All right. I am now this is very interesting. This is Jake Lang. You know, we talked about him briefly. He, used a baseball bat against police officers. I met Jake when he got out of J6. I interviewed him outside of the Disu Gulag. It was very odd because he wasn't let out of the Gulag. He just showed up. The whole thing just seems a little off to me, and the way everything went down. But let's just check out what he's got to say here, because he is speaking out against Hindu and Muslim mosques.
Good evening, Friscoistan. What are you guys doing here? Inviting the enemy to eat at the table with you, and they steal all your food. Your children will grow up without a place to be in, because every single one of their jobs, and you saw the children that were brought up on this stage, not one of them is a heritage American. Not one of them was a Texan. Your replacement is here, Americans, and it is coming faster and faster. The Hindus and the Muslims are teaming up to take over Texas. This is not Muslims versus Hindus here. They are here to eradicate the Christians. They are here to drive us out of our homelands. You have to understand, these people do not want to assimilate. These people have not come here to become Americans. They have come here to drag their third world culture over to our country. If Jainism, if Hinduism is so great, why are their countries shitholes? They are bringing this ideology here to turn the third world is not a place. It is a people. It is an ideology. It is a way of life. It is a culture. And when they bring their people, their way of life, their ideology, and their culture over to America, do you think it's going to remain American? Have you ever looked across the plains of Texas and said, I need 5 million Jeets here right now to shit in the street? No one ever has. No one has ever looked across and said the football fields, the games, all of the amazing cowboy. I have the First Amendment right, and I can curse if I want to. I can talk if I want to. No one has ever looked across the plains of Texas and the football games and all the amazing cowboy culture and the raw American spirit here and said, let's replace this with Muslims. Let's replace this with Hindus. Texas should remain for Texans. Have you lost your mind selling your children's future? Did you see the Boys and Girls Club of America standing on this stage? Is it even recognizable to what you would have seen the Boy Scouts 15 or 20 years ago? It is a replacement. It is not right. Just because it's happening to white people does not make it okay. You guys are complicit. This is the jellyfish generation, half boomer, half Gen X. You don't care about my children's children. You are selling out this country to people who do not want to live near you. They want to build their own separate, segregated zones where they practice their religion, their food, their way of dress, their language. They don't care about white culture. They don't care about American culture. They don't like you. They will replace you. Their culture in both Muslim and Hindu is pedophilia. And I have the child marriage in Mensur Marudi, which is one of their religious texts. It suggests a 30-year-old man marry a 12-year-old woman, or a 24-year-old man is perfect for an 8-year-old girl. What the fuck is wrong with you inviting these people into our country? This is a Christian country. Name one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence that's a Hindu or Muslim.
Thank you.
You all deserve to be strong.
Wow. Very, very well spoken, Jake. But, you know, you all deserve to be strong. I don't think he said strong. I think he said strung, as in hanged. That could be a problem for Jake if he's calling for violence against these people. You know, here's the thing. He's very well spoken and says some really
Good evening, Frisco Stan.
However, it's almost like the Alex Jones MO, where he goes beyond, he goes above and beyond, and now it goes against what he's not helping us, right? He's hurting us. Speaking of J6, of Jake Lang was prosecuted for, Trump sues the IRS for $10 billion for wrongfully sharing Trump's tax returns. That is absolutely illegal. Trump agrees to drop the lawsuit in exchange for a $1.8 billion fund for reparations to J6 prisoners and others affected by Biden's policies. IRS agreement includes federal tax returns filed by President Donald Trump, family members, the Trump Organization, and related trusts and affiliates before this week are protected from potential IRS enforcement actions under a new controversial $1.8 billion settlement with the Justice Department, a new document posted shows. This is from Todd Blanche. The settlement, Trump versus Internal Revenue, has created the Anti-Weaponization Fund. The settlement agreement directed the Attorney General to issue an order establishing funding, any and all other relevant requirements for the fund. Okay. The United States releases, waives, acquits, and forever discharges each of the plaintiffs from and is hereby forever barred and precluded from prosecuting or pursuing any and all claims, counterclaims, causes of action, appeals, or requests for any relief, including injunctive relief, monetary relief, damages, examinations, et cetera, as of the effective date of the settlement agreement, have been or could have been asserted by defendants against any of the plaintiffs or related and affiliated individuals, including without limitation, family-related parties, including trust, parent, sister, related companies. So basically, the weaponization against these people. Okay. Me included, because what happened was, we were all censored, right? We were all censored because of the Biden DOJ that locked up our freedom of speech. Not okay. Not okay whatsoever. And Todd Blanche is now, they have a fund to help us out. So I'm going to be looking into that. Thank you for those of you who have sent me some information regarding that, because this money is going to go towards the people who were affected by this whole thing. Okay. And this is very important. Very, very important subject, because, we were affected very negatively, right? Okay. That story I showed you earlier, by the way, on that Novak stories from the mainstream media about him, 0. Stories, CNN stories on George Floyd, 107. 107, 17. Are they giving us a message? Are they telling us why this is so lopsided so that we, the people, can see the absolute criminality by these governments? This, to me, is what is showing up, my friends, without question. Without question. This is unbelievable. Here, let me see. Trump talked about the ballroom. Okay, let me take you to that.
If they had won the election, our country would have been destroyed. Our country was a dead country 2 years ago, and now we have really the hottest country in the world. And this is the ballroom, and it's going to be something incredible. You see the quality of it, and they go right, those columns go right into the roof. And on top of the roof, we're going to have the greatest drone empire that you've ever seen, and it's going to protect Washington. Thank you all very much.
Back up. Hold on. So the ballroom is going to host the biggest drone empire anybody's ever seen. It's going to protect Washington. Let's listen to that again.
And on top of the roof, we're going to have the greatest drone empire that you've ever seen, and it's going to protect Washington. Thank you all.
Drone empire on top of the ballroom that's going to protect Washington. This was the conversation I was having with you very early on when he said that the military are helping him build it. And I told you that this is going to be, without question, a military installation. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Okay. Let's see. Just in terms of the election fraud that I was talking about a moment ago, I just want to say that I reposted this on X and I said, you know, we've come a long way since even mentioning election fraud quickly discredited us in the public square. See additional article and comments on overturned elections so far. Thank you, John Solomon's team. And this is the, you know, these are the ones. This was going back to 2023, and at least 4 elections in the U.S. have been overturned, and the results voided. This was in let's see, Caddo Parish Sheriff's contest, 2024. Louisiana Supreme Court Justice Joseph Blake, he was assigned the case. That was one. And so a mayoral general election in Bridgeport, Connecticut, a judge overturned the results of the election's Democrat mayoral primary and ordered a new election. Bridgeport Superior Court Judge William Clark made the decision after a video was posted online that appeared to show a supporter of incumbent Democrat Mayor Joe Ganim stuffing stacks of papers in a ballot drop box. So that was WNPR Connecticut Public Radio, and so we're seeing some of this happening, right? Fourth Court of Appeals in Texas affirmed a lower court's ruling to flip the outcome of the 2022 District 2 or 11 Laredo City Council election. So at any rate, these are being overturned. Okay. And I have that, and I've reshared that on my timeline. So you can see that on Snedheads, or you can see it on, and I thought you were with me there. My apologies. I had you here, and this was the story. So they've been overturned. So the precedent has been set. Yeah. Now FBI is challenging this woman in California. And this was a couple of days ago, but it bears repeating. Okay. US is first, then EU, then Asia, or Asia, EU. I forget the number. But this is the EU. Okay. This is the European Parliament, a major blow to the elite leftists who want the third world to destroy the West. They passed to do the deportation of migrants in Europe.
Okay.
Finally, people are
We have many
standing up.
votes to go through, guys.
This is what it looks like to take back the countries of Europe. Okay. This is what's happening. And it's very unfortunate that we're dealing with this. It's very unfortunate that we're dealing with this, what our ancestors and our European ancestors dealt with throughout the Crusades. And that was the attempted Islamic invasion of Europe by the Muslims in the Middle East. And they tried to take over Europe many, many times. And that's what the Crusades were, defending their homeland. And now they've conquered it through wokeness, through George Soros's money, through bombing the Middle East, giving Europeans a chance to, misdirect their compassion towards allowing everybody to just come in that are not compatible with their lifestyle, not compatible with their culture. One iota. It's not even. It's not even an option. Take your misdirected compassion elsewhere. Yeah. So, and then of course you've got, the 12,000 Britain political prisoners as well. It's just absolutely tragic that they're putting people behind bars. Yeah. It's for speaking their mind. This woman who was featured in Nick Shirley's video exposing Minneapolis daycare owner, Fahima Aga Mahmoud, charged with wire fraud and conspiracy for allegedly stealing over $4.6 million through false claims to federal and state programs. That the house of cards, my friends, is crumbling. This is President Trump restoring integrity to America's financial system. Representative Mary Miller said that Trump just cut off illegal aliens from America's financial system. No welfare, no benefits, no banking, no reason to stay. Expect mass self-deportations to follow because of this. This should have happened a long time ago. Okay. Speaking of the election, listen to this. Speaking of to the fraud.
Now, a whole lot of ballots in the mail. This many people do not live at this address. A lot of ballots. Ballots for LA mayor. Yes. And every single one of these is going to be filled out by one person and voting for Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt for mayor of LA. Every single one of these ballots and every single one of these ballots that just came in we're going to vote for Spencer Pratt by mail. We're doing dozens of them, dozens of them, dozens of them. Mail, a whole lot of ballots in the mail. This many people do not live at this address.
This is, you know, how it's going to be stolen, my friends, and we've got to keep an eye on this, because this is absolutely how they've gotten Democrat mayors, socialist mayors, to be able to take over these countries. This is what's happening in Cuba. They're taking over the country. Taking over the police stations. You know, a friend of mine many years ago almost drowned, and he was saved by a Coast Guard soldier member. And as the Coast Guard was, you know, in the water with him, taking him back to shore, he yelled out to him. He was just staying there, just letting the guy take him in. He's a big guy. And the guy yelled out to him. He said, participate in your own rescue. And he didn't even think about it. He's like, oh, okay. He started paddling to help the guy, help get him back to shore. Well, that's what we need in Iran. That's what we need in Cuba. That's what we need in England. That's what we need in the European nations. You all must participate in your own rescue. That's the only way it's going to work. You have to participate in your own liberation, your own rescue, and it's going to be. It's going to be good once we get these countries completely exposed to the just the decades and decades of corruption that has gone on right under the nose of the people who walk through the streets every single day, right? This is important. Laura Ivy posted this. This is Ilhan Omar. She had an emergency bid to halt the DOJ probe into her explosive wealth surge. It was brutally denied by the federal judge. No hearing, no mercy, doors sealed, shut in seconds. As the Somali-born congresswoman faces imminent subpoena storm, while Senator Marco Rubio fires off, "This isn't justice delayed. This is corruption exposed." Her $40 million mystery fortune is about to unravel the whole progressive facade. Millions shocked as hidden financial trails linked to overseas accounts surface, plus the judge's chilling final remark leaked. No more games, and Rubio's vow to push full congressional audit that could strip her committee seats and trigger impeachment level chaos rocking Washington. This is all happening, my friends, without question. This is all happening. And Massey's gone, my friends. Trump said yesterday, Massey put out an old endorsement from him many years ago before he found out he was the worst congressman in the history of our country. He said, "I endorsed Ed Galrain, the true American patriot," which Massey knows full well. So the statements that he put out is fraudulent, just like he is fraudulent. Withdraw your fake statement, Massey, right now, President Donald J. Trump. Now, a lot of people are pissed off at that, right? Because they think that, well, you know, maybe Donald J. Trump shouldn't have gone after Massey that much. that way because of the fact that he, needed to be exposed, right? But yes, and I want to play this too from. This is Representative Maria Elvira Salazar.
Today is a glorious day for the Cuban people. After 6 decades of tragedy, of misery, of distressed, Cubans will be free soon. And there are no words to describe the joy they feel, not only the Cubans on the island, but the Cubans that we represent in South Florida, who live abroad, others who live abroad, but we represent all of them all over the country and across the world. I repeat, today is a glorious day for those Cubans who had to leave their homeland unwillingly, the people that we represent in the city of Miami, only because of the cruelty and the wickedness of a group of gangsters, the Castro family, who did nothing but seize the island to turn it into their own business. The Castros are in the business of power, not in the business of feeding the Cuban people on the island. But thank God, everything indicates that it's over, and that we are at the beginning of the end. Today is the beginning of the end for the Castro family. And just like this poster says it, they belong to that group of gangsters. The Ayatollahs, Maduro, and he is pending, and that will end today. Thanks to President Trump. We thank the president who has taken the initiative to think about the Western Hemisphere, and especially about Cuba, because we know that Cuba is the epicenter of evil in this hemisphere. President Trump has set this agenda, the America First agenda. Well, Cuba falls right into it, because when it comes to the island, that is perfectly within the plan. A closed Cuba, I mean, we're only 90 miles away. Cuba is only 90 miles away from the city that I represent, the city of Miami in South Florida. A friendly Cuba, a prosperous Cuba, will help with the United States economy, with politics, with immigration. And that is what this country needs. Friends are in this Western Hemisphere, friends around the United States. President Trump realized that we are deeply deeply grateful to his administration and to his leadership. And today marks the moment when 60 years of destruction will come to an end. For that reason, I'm speaking on behalf of everyone that I have behind me. The message is for the Castro family. Understand this well, that your days are over. A federal indictment is serious stuff. If not, look at that example. Maduro thought that Trump was fooling, and he was just fooling him, and he was playing around. And President Trump gave him enough time for him to think what to do with his destiny. Look what Maduro did. He thought that President Trump was not serious. And look where Maduro is today, in a federal prison in New York. So we are sending the message to the Castro family. It's time for you to leave. It's time for you to heed the signal from the White House and do not fall into the abyss. You have the option not to wind up where Maduro is. You can leave now and let the island in the hands of the opposition forces, in the hands of freedom. So that destiny can bring Cuba to a different place. So once again, we thank the President of the United States for taking this action, for bringing justice. But like Maliatakis said, is not only the first thing, there's not only the first crime that the Castro family has committed against the Cubans. We're talking about 67 years of misery, of cruelty, of being morally despicable. And thank God to this administration and to the White House and to the American people that the Cubans will be free again and will be friends with the United States for the next 100 years.
That's so huge, my friends. It's so absolutely huge. Folks, if you want to support my work, please do a screenshot of that with your phone, or you can go to Zelle and or do your Give, Send, Go. Also, the links that are in the chat, you can click on those to keep the lights on and keep me moving forward. I also want to do a bit of a PSA slash advertising announcement regarding the PEMF that that I shared the other night with you when it came to the that interview with Maria Baldry, and then you can just find this information on this website, snedpemf.com, snedpemf.com. And I will drop that down and play this for you here. I got to turn the audio up.
People are tired, but they've normalized it. Fatigue, anxiety, wasted potential. What if the real disease isn't in your body, but in the way we've been told to live? This isn't a product, it's a system, a reset. A rewire, a revolution hiding in plain sight. This is where science meets story, where results become reality, where ordinary people get to live extraordinarily well. When you have the cure, you don't need to sell. You just show up, share, and watch lives change. The world is waking up, and this time, you're early. If you had the chance to be part of the movement that reshapes wellness, love, and purpose, would you leap? This is only life, not a brand, a breakthrough.
Great short video. Thank you, Wayne, for sending that to me. And also, just keep in mind, folks, that this is about our health, and this is about resetting our system of well-being. There will be one of these devices in every home within 5 to 6 years, just like there's a laptop or a computer in every home. But this one is different because this is the one that will really change your cellular activity, enhance the cellular activity within your body, and really help healing, supporting your body so it can heal itself. And so please check out snedpemf.com. If you just fill out the form, you will get a call from us, and you will we'll have a conversation about this device and what it's done for me, what it's done for my sister, what it's done for Nancy, her husband George, what it's done for Wayne with his diabetes. It's incredible, folks. Please check this out, and it's much cheaper than almost every single device out there that touts the similar things, like the Beamer, that is PEMF, but it doesn't have the terahertz like this one does. So it's very important that we understand the value here, and please look into that for yourself and for your own sake. And it also supports this show when you engage with that. I wanted to say a quick thank you to those who donated the other night. Derek Martin gave $17. Edward Quinn gave $5. Thank you both. DC Glenn gave $25. And then we got DGM Unlimited. Dina gave $75 for my daughter's birthday. And Nancy Sutherland gave $25 for my daughter's birthday, and she knows her personally. So thank you for that. That's very, very generous, and I'll keep you posted as to what we do with that money. And it might just even be just give it to her and let her do something with it, what she would like. That's for her 18th birthday. If any of you want to jump on that little birthday cart of my daughter, who used to deliver me meals every night in the Sned shed back in Topanga, and missed a lot of time with her dear old dad, wanting to awaken the masses, and certainly made quite the sacrifice. So if anybody made a sacrifice, it was her. And so if you'd like to show gratitude for that, please do so, and just make a mention that it's for Annie. And I literally wasn't planning on doing anything for that, but she's graduating from high school in about a week and a half, and she's just turned 18 on May 18th, and that's what that was all about, with some beautiful Snedheads that were stepping up to just say thank you to my daughter for the sacrifices that she has made for this show, which has been quite significant, quite significant. And I'm so proud of her and what she's done, and how she has grown into this incredible young girl. And I see that there was a May 19th donation by Jan Hasselbush. Thank you, Jan, for your $20. Was that for me or for Annie? Yes, and just some subscription renewals on Snedheads. I'm grateful for all of you that are renewing your subscriptions to Snedheads. Please check that out, my friends. That is still just an awesome little social media platform. As a matter of fact, I want to go there and share a story from that. Let me take you there now. And here is the show. I've got it in dark mode. Obviously, you can also do it in light mode as well, right? But I'm in dark mode here, and you see all my X feed over here. Okay. Let me refresh this just to make sure I've got it up and refreshed. And you see the X feed shifted to the show, right? And thank you, Kathy. Magnus is, I hope he's doing well as well. But I wanted to take you to this story on Wesley Hunt that Moonbeam dropped.
Let's get to reality. This is the reality. The duly elected president of the United States is Donald Trump. I've seen Democrats on TV for the past week scream, Elon Musk, Musk. And what's funny about it to me is that you're mad at the guy that found the fraud, but not mad at the people that wasted your money. Let's take a look at Black Panther. I'm sorry, that's Nancy Pelosi, Wakanda forever. Please note some of these photos. Wait a minute, that's not January 6th. That's May 31st, 2020. That's not January 6th either. That's July 27th. Well, hot damn. That's not January 6th either. I believe is that it? But wait, there's more. Sitting with me today is my global entry card, my military ID card, my Texas driver's license, my Texas license to carry, because that's how we roll in Texas, my congressional card, and of course, good old-fashioned American passport. What sorcery is this? What am I, the Black Houdini? Does the parole program allow non-U.S. citizens to be financial supporters of parolees?
Yes, that's correct.
Why would you allow that?
We allow for co-supporters.
But they're non-citizens.
They may be.
Do you know how ridiculous that sounds, ma'am? I'm sitting here right now, and I got to tell y'all, I'm Black, and I'm a veteran. I have 6 forms of government ID. 6. We aren't making it more difficult for people to get an ID to vote. I have an 18-month-old little boy. Do you know the first thing that he got when he was born that I had to sign for? A birth certificate. Hunters should not be treated with kid gloves. This man is 50 years old. It's a grown-ass man. He should not be given special treatment because he thinks he's an American prince. And I don't mean Purple Rain. Citizenship matters. Borders matter. Having borders is a difference between having a country run by President Trump or by a Haitian warlord barbecue. I'd like to show you a food pyramid. Now I know what you're thinking. This is not the FDA's approved food pyramid, although many of you probably wish it was. In the Hunt House, we don't do Ben and Jerry's. It's Bluebell only. To help Democrats get to reality. This is the reality. The duly elected.
So this is beautiful. it was, yeah. Thank you, Moonbeam, for sharing that on Snedheads there. The great share on Snedheads. Thank you, Moonbeam. And yeah, that's classic, my friends, right there. That's absolutely classic. And I wanted to show you, for those of you, if you have not seen this, I did want to take you to the SNED PEMF website and show you what that's all about. The game taught me how to push my body. Experience taught me how to take care of it. Recovery changes everything. And I used to jump very high, would land very poorly. So my body has taken a hell of a beating. From the NCAA Final Four to decades of coaching and training athletes, I've seen firsthand what happens when the body is pushed to its limits. PEMF has become one of my favorite tools for supporting recovery and helping me stay active, healthy, and moving well. You can learn a little bit more about PEMF, support your body naturally. These are the various things that you could use it for. And then you can have questions, reach out anytime, or you can see the devices. But this is the one that I have, Snedeker's pick here, the Oli Life Terra P90 Plus. So it's terahertz and PEMF, and supports circulation, recovery, cellular function, and it's amazing. Okay, thank you. So that donation was for Annie. The Oli Life Shake and Massager, which I showed you, built for the core, delivers heat, movement, and stimulation. It also burns calories. And then the Galaxy One for the eyes. Yeah. So people were saying they're getting rid of their readers because of this. Okay. So, yeah. And you could place your order or talk to our team, one of the two. It's very professional. It's all set up. It's ready to go. You can put your information in and get a call or a text or an email if you don't want to talk to anybody. So it's all there, my friends. So please check it out, even if you don't get it, or just know about it so that you can help others who might have like major problems. We are Gen X. We are the boomer, baby boomer generation. And my friends, we absolutely just need to have ways in which we help our body heal better and heal faster and strengthen. We're up against a lot. So I highly recommend this device. I've been using it twice a day. My energy has been through the roof. I'm drinking less coffee, having better energy. The only time I don't have energy is if I do too much gluten or wheat. That crashes my energy. And I had a slice of pizza right before the show, so my energy was a little down. But that's really the only time now that I'm doing this twice a day. And that's my own doing, because I know I don't do well with glyphosate. Yeah, my friends. So any questions or any comments or anything that I didn't cover that you were hoping that I would? And by the way, sorry for that low volume on that video. It was kind of a whisper, but that was up as high as I could take it. So yes, let's see what you got here. Furry Grizzly was commenting on the Jake Lang thing. Been to Fresco several times. Blocks and blocks of only Islamic writing on businesses, no English anywhere. It is unfortunately the Dearborn of Texas, right? Let's see. Let's see. $1,600 prisoners of war, 1.8 billion isn't enough. I have a feeling there's going to be more money. Yeah. By the way, I saw that and I didn't think it was Bezos either, so much that I didn't even play that video. Ravens Wings. All right. My new address, if you want to send me a card or a letter, please, P.O. Box 184. I really haven't gotten anything there yet. I know I have a package there, and I'll probably go tomorrow to check that out. Let's see. Yeah, Jake was part of the J6 Theater. Yeah. Let's see. All you have to do is sue the United States government, Dave, but you were not a prisoner of war. No, but I need to sue the U.S. government without question. They violated my First Amendment right and also defamed me by what they did with big tech. Let me see. Let me get to your most recent comments and see what you guys got for me. I was getting a little bit behind on your comments. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, this is a good call. Moonbeam, anybody in the Kansas City area can call Moonbeam, Diana, and you can test drive the P90 Plus, okay? And we'll get some other folks, once you get yours, like Velma and so many of you, like we'll get those to you too. We'll put your info up if you want, so people can, you know, connect with you and maybe try it out. So let's see. Yeah, and Wayne says anybody in the Baton Rouge area or San Clemente area, San Clemente, California, Baton Rouge, obviously Louisiana, can schedule an in-person experience. Thank you, Wayne, for that. To try the P90 Plus. Let me see. Dave, did you see Trump's post with the shackled alien? No, you know what I saw? Let me see if I saw one with an alien that was on X, and I meant to go over to Truth to confirm it. And this was what, two days ago? Several days ago. By the way, he's like, everybody's winning, folks. This is President Trump's Truth Social posts. Let me take you there. Here it is. Okay, these are all his wins. Okay, all his wins: Alabama, Georgia, Idaho, Lieutenant Governor of Idaho. All of his picks, folks, he's crushing it. Okay, so we got to keep the MAGA movement going. We got to keep the America First movement going. But look at all these people that he has endorsed that have won their race and are going to be beholden to him to do the right thing, right? And then he got rid of Massey, okay? And then I didn't see. Again, the alien was very interesting. Like, he's definitely trolling us, right? With the alien stuff, without question. But it's so much, it's buried now, right? It's like trying to find it is impossible. But it was important for us to see. This is a Space Force, like, that he's reposting, right? Iran, how it's showing everybody's America, right? Here he's at the Resolute desk with the guy who beat Massey. more Space Force. Okay. Dumb and Dumber, the Illinois government. Drug overdose deaths are down significantly. This is when he was in China. What they do, what we do. Hakeem Low IQ Jeffries in his district. So, yeah, this is, here it is. 3 days ago, right? Alien in Shackles. Why is he posting this, right? And why? Is it in shackles or what exactly is that? It does kind of look like that, doesn't it, right? And meanwhile, we're talking about a timestamp. I have not done a dive on this. Why does that do that every time? But it's 4:53, May 17th. So it's 4:53. So that's a Q drop 453. And also, we got to go to the military, which would be 1653. And let's just see what's there. The 453 is side-by-side graphic, locate and create 22, search crumbs number 2. Who's number 2? No deals. Q. Well, number 2 would be the FBI director, Andrew McCabe, along with leaking James Comey, the phony Hillary Clinton investigation, including her 33,000 illegally deleted emails, be given 700,000 for wife's campaign by Clinton puppets during investigation. That was McAuliffe. Previous also logged in graphic form 10 plus others, timestamps important, countdown, question mark, markers. So telling us timestamps are important, including this one for 453. All right. The FBI, the deleted emails. Tim Scott plans to recommend Trey Gowdy for Supreme Court. What a coincidence. Q. So not really hitting like we would like. Could be a 453 actual timestamp, which could take us to many different things that have the actual 453. Building the army. They want wars. They want you suppressed, divided. Boom, boom, boom. Resignation. Rosenstein, former FBI lawyers. Here's an interesting Amazon purchase of Ring app allows for access to device location services on data streams accessible, spying on the American people. So not a lot of comms on that, right? Other than, when you have something as significant as that, origin of COVID-19 and a fascista. Okay. So not a real significant dive there from what I can see. But thank you for sharing that, mentioning that. Sometimes just, posts like that stand on their own because it's like freaking alien. Okay. And what's going on with the release of the UFO files, right? Let's see. Okay. Jasper's looking right at me. He just knocked the pillow off the couch and he's just staring at me. It's hilarious. Thanks for the prayers, by the way, for my sister's dog Magnus and brother-in-law's dog Magnus. It's Sned PEMF, snedpemf.com. And let's see, I'll pull it up right there. There it is. Okay. And I'll show you more videos on that, by the way, as time goes on. But you can also go to snedpemf.com and see the videos for yourself. And by the way, just you don't have to buy it. Just learn more about it if you would. Sign up for, get on the phone with Nancy or Wayne, learn a little bit more about it, and let's rock and roll. To our health, my friends, to our health. So thanks for joining me tonight, my friends. I appreciate you. I am, let me see, tomorrow night will be dependent on Magnus. So keep an eye out for my announcement. But if I can, I'm going to come to you. And look who showed up. Mr. Whistle Whiskers is in the house. Oh, he has been so missed by this group of beautiful humans that know how special he is to our family. There you go. And he loves the PEMF too, by the way. Can you say hello? Can you say hello? Yeah. Say hello. Hi. Hi, good boy. You're such a good boy. Yeah. 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 Look at Mr. Whistle Whiskers. When was the last time you guys saw him? It's been a minute, hasn't it? Huh? Yeah. And now somebody's getting jealous. So Jasper's getting jealous because he's up on my lap. So Jasper is now, coming into the picture here. Okay. So, all right, my friends, thanks for being with me tonight. And good stuff happening. Whiskers is getting comfy. Let me get rid of the SNED PEMF here so you can see him better. But there we go. There we go. Well, almost. There we go. So Mr. Whistle Whiskers says hello and good night. Much love and prayers up for Wayne, Robin's father, Terry and Lorinda, and all those who are having difficulty and need prayer right now. Thank you, my friends. Be well. Good night. Much love.